Father, we thank you for times like this. We thank you for these people who have devoted themselves to the work of the county. We pray that you will give them wisdom, that you will give them the right decisions to make. We pray that you will watch over them. We pray for the whole county, that you will give us wisdom to do what's right in your eyes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Darren.
Second.
Second by Neil. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have approved payment of bills.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian. Second by Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have approved treasurer's budget transfers as presented. Motion by Jason. Second by Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have approved treasurer's monthly settlement.
Make a motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have approved jailer's payment of bills.
Motion.
Motion by Darren. Second by Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the approved jailer's budget transfers as presented.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian.
Second.
Second by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the approved reapportionment maps, which we're going to lay over because there are some discrepancies that some of the magistrates want to look at with that and get with the reapportionments committee and to discuss. We'll probably have to have a special call meeting to get these passed. So, because it's sort of time sensitive. So, and I think the meeting's Monday. Okay. So, pass that. Approve the sheriff's monthly settlement.
Motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have to accept the Big Greedy Watershed Annual Financial Report.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian.
Second.
Second by Neil. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have proposed Grayson County Fiscal Court 2023 tax rate hearing. Is anyone here in reference to the hearing? Appears to be no one here. So, well, now we go to approve to set Grayson County's 2023 tax rate, which is real property 6.7, motor vehicle watercraft at 7.9, which it will remain the same as last year, so it's not raised. Need a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian,
Second.
second by Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have accept the Grayson County Health Department's 2023 tax rate, which is real property 2.6, personal property 3.0, motor vehicles 3.0, which is the same as last year. Need a motion. Motion by Brenda,
Second.
second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have accept Grayson County Public Library's 2023 tax rate, which is real property 8.5, tangible 8.5, motor vehicle 3.1. So need a motion for that one as well.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Brian, or Darren, did you make a motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion by Darren, second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have accept Grayson County Extension Office 2023 tax rate, which is real property 6.1, personal property 11.03, motor vehicle 1.42, which is compensating rate, correct, Angel?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same as well, so need a motion for that.
Make a motion.
Motion by Neil, second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have to accept the Indian Valley neighborhood as a designated county roadway on the golf cart usage ordinance. And I think they've been approved by the road department. They went out and looked at them and everything's in order, so I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Darren,
Second.
second by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we have the same with Doug Hill neighborhood as designated county roadways for the golf cart uses ordinance. Everything is checked out with it as well. They've done their proper paperwork. Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brenda,
Second.
second by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
And next we also have accept Ambassador Shores neighborhood as a designated county roadway for the golf cart usage
Motion.
ordinance, which everything's been done with it as well.
Make a motion.
All right, motion by Darren.
Second.
second by Neil, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have update on the fiscal court committees, which we had met before the meeting, and everything seemed to be going good with the fiscal court committees. Other new business is to accept Grayson County Board of Education tax rates, which real property is 58.40, tangible 58.40, motor vehicle 46.3, and they did take a 4% increase from last year. And last year it was 52.5, 52.8, and 46.3. So,
Well, that was.
so right now it's 58.40, 58.40, and 46.3. So, need a motion, or is there any discussion?
Did they say why they went up, or you know?
Nah, they just send them to us. So,
And they've done been approved by them, we just have to accept them so
Okay.
that the clerk
Okay.
can.
and the school board, and I explained this to you all individually, is the school board is elected officials as we are, and they can approve to take tax increase or to lower it. And basically, and Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, the only thing that we're actually, I mean, we could vote against to accept it. However, it would still go through, from my understanding, because they're elected officials. The only thing we're doing is to document with the clerk what the tax rate actually is, and for us to have it placed on the property tax bill, which would go on anyway by law, from my understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. They've already had their hearings and requirements, and that's the rate that they.
So we can't control the rate, we just control whether it's put on there or not.
We cannot, no, it's gonna go on there. I mean, it's gotta go on there by law. But the only thing we're basically documenting is what their tax rates are. And through the clerk, which is, you know, for the minutes.
Right.
And, you know, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, which nobody wants, you know, taxes to go up, but, it's still something that we've gotta address, so.
I entertain a motion.
Motion to go ahead and accept it for the clerk, by Brian. I got a second.
Second.
Second by Neil, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Did I explain that as clear as water, Jeremy, or?
It's where it is.
That's the reason why I wanted it out there.
Yeah.
You know, because people are gonna ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, it went up, so hopefully they got plans, like maybe a new.
Yeah, and I mean,
elementary school or
and I implore everyone to get with your,
Board member.
with your board member that you elect to the school board, so, to ask them those questions.
Thanks for adding that.
So, we need to approve to pay Palmer Kenworth $210,614 from the road fund when the dump truck is complete. It's probably gonna be ready before our next meeting, so that's why we wanna go ahead and get approval to go ahead and pay them now, so I think it's gonna be ready for the next meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Brenda, all in favor? All right, next we need to accept the Grayson County Hospital District tax rate, which is real property 4.2, tangible 5.0, motor vehicle 5.0, and that is the compensating rate as well. Nothing has changed.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Brenda, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and a lot going on today, guys. New business. Norman, you got new business?
No, but I would like to get a list of the neighborhoods that, because I've kind of not been able to keep up with it, that have approved the golf cart ordinance, so I can let my guys know.
don't we send them a copy of those roadways?
I don't know if they do or don't.
I thought they sent a copy over to there, but we'll get you a copy of them, so.
I need just a list of all the neighborhoods that have been approved.
Yeah,
It's my fault, I haven't been keeping up with it, so.
yeah, there's 3 on here, and we even have a list. Whenever we do a neighborhood, it's on my letterhead of the roadways that are in that neighborhood that have been approved, so.
Okay.
That way they know, so. I think there's some confusion on that golf cart ordinance. I think someone thinks that
Side by side.
that they can do whatever they want, and it's not quite designed that way, so.
We've probably since we've passed the ordinance, we've done more enforcement on it, and it's got more teeth, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And it's caused people to get their carts registered, so.
You know, the whole ordeal, what the reason for that ordinance to begin with was to keep young people off of the golf carts, basically. That's the easiest way to explain it.
I agree.
So hopefully it does that. And, all right, new business, Kenny, or you care to, I told Kenny and Steve to come because I know there've been some questions, you know, from people about what's going on and what the road department actually does and how much, you know, what they do throughout the month or throughout the weeks. And Kenny, if you don't care, read to the fiscal court what you all done since our last meeting was conducted.
This list consists of starting at July 24th through yesterday. I've just given a number of roads and so forth. Roads mowed, 690 miles. Roads graded and rocked, 28. Tiles put in, we put in 13 for 320 feet. Ditching and shouldering roads approximately 6 miles. Trees cut up and cleaned up on 19 roads. Loads of rock between 2 dump trucks, 90 loads in those 16 I think it's 16 working days, I believe. Coal mix, 14 loads for 21 ton on 29 different roads. Chip and seal, a little over 7 miles in these days. We've put 44.68 ton of riprap out on 6 different locations throughout the county. That being over the end of tiles or, you know, board lines. So that's what we've got. Like I say, it's the guys have been busy.
Appreciate you.
Any remarks from the magistrates or any questions for Steve?
I'm glad he's here to read that. We've had some trucks down and
Yeah.
couldn't get oil. We had our oil truck down. It's just been a tough month.
Appreciate you getting.
Y'all got a lot done.
And I had just told Kenny last month to start keeping up with this. I didn't want to put any more work on him, but I thought that if someone ever addressed you all and say, what have you all been doing? I mean, I think people's going to be surprised at the astronomical amount of miles that the county road department mows in a month period of time, which is over 600 miles.
7, yeah.
So close to 7. But anyway, just so you all could keep up with it too. Now, he's not broke that down into districts. Of course, we've got the work order list. You all can come and check that work order list at any time. They update that as well. It's always on there, whether what's been done and what they did do. And if you all got communication with Steve and Kenny, I mean, if you ain't got good communication with Steve and Kenny, it's probably your own fault, because I mean, they'll answer the phone at any given time to
I appreciate
try to answer
it.
your
Because every time I
They're
call
good.
them,
I appreciate it.
We do a daily log every single day. Each group, if there's 2 or 3 in a group of chipping and sealing or whatever, that group will do a daily log of what they do, what district, what they use, their equipment, how much rock, and so forth. So we've got that material at the shop. If anybody ever wants to see it, why, it is available to y'all.
yeah, like I said, anytime I ask them to do something, they're right on it. I mean, you
Same
can't
for
ask
me,
anymore.
Thank you all
Yeah.
for what you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate
And guys,
10 more years peace for both of them. We got a good group of guys, you know.
Yes,
Stuff like that.
That's what makes it.
yes, that's what I said. You guys make our job look easier.
And normally the chip and seal mileage will be more than that, but like Darren said, we did have some trouble with our old distributor, and it was down for about 3 weeks or so, so that kind of shortened that list on the chip and seal. And We still got a few roads to try to do before the season's over and so forth, but as of right now, it's going and everything's going good.
We've also had 2 dump trucks down, and then
Yeah.
we approved to, for the rock hauling through A&E, Allers and Decker Trucking. There's 3 different trucks, and Kenny didn't even list those loads, which is,
I've got them, they had approximately 40 loads between the 3 at 1,000 tons of rock.
so 120 more loads on top of the 90 that was hauled for county roads that was actually subbed out to those 3 trucks because our 2 trucks are down, which will be back hopefully this month. So it wasn't just 90 loads, add 120 to it. So there, and that's for gravel roads, for different things too, so.
Yeah,
that's
chip and
why-
seal prep.
Have you heard when we're gonna get that dump truck back from frame shop?
Kuiper's talking about it, and it's done, the frame part's done, they just send it to the body shop to do little things to the body. Put a grill in, a bumper or something, little like that.
They tell us they've got, what do you say, eight or 9 men working on it, so hopefully it won't be too much longer.
Okay, appreciate it. Anybody else got anything for Kenny and Steve? If y'all wanna stay, you can, unless y'all wanna just hang out, so. Ben, you got any new business?
No.
Darren? Angel? Got anything? No. Nothing? Anything?
You gonna take the water now, right?
Yeah, we'll do it here in just a second. Yeah, anything?
No, sir.
Jeremy?
Yeah, got something. We had, we've been hearing, I've been talking about this opioid abatement money for a long time, and we've started to get it to come in. Right now, we should have somewhere around $228,000 with a schedule of allotments coming in 2024 to 2031 of another $763,000. So over the next 8 years, we'll have $1 million to try to fight our addiction problem here in the county. And that's fantastic, because we get to do it from here, from the center of the county. And so what I'm asking the court to do is I'd like a committee. I'd like a committee. Brenda and I have already talked about it. She'd like to be on the committee for us to structure basically our plan, our strategic plan for these funds. And we'd include obviously the sheriff, because as we've laid out before, there's only certain things we can spend this money on. But just because there's limitations doesn't mean that we can't get absolutely a lot done with this and really take it to our local issue and help some people and some families. And so I'm asking the fiscal court if there's any other magistrates that might be interested in volunteering to be on the committee.
I will. No.
Okay. And what I plan on doing is trying to meet, set up a time with whoever's on it for next month, and then hopefully have a plan lined out.
How many you wanna put on the committee? Of course, you can't have any more magistrates, because if we've got 3, we can't do any more, so.
Yeah, I think these 3 volunteers, I think that's fine.
You okay with that?
And that doesn't mean that we won't be reaching out to these people as well, because all of you, or a lot
We just don't
of
wanna have a
you-
quorum issue.
Huh?
I just didn't wanna have a quorum issue. So-
Yeah, and, but, you know, the way that your all's districts are sliced up, a lot of y'all end up with the city, covering part of the city, and that is where a lot of our issue, I mean, it's all over this county, but I think it'd be important to get everybody's input, because there's, I've heard it said over and over, there's not a family that's not affected in some way by addiction, and, but I'm welcome. We're gonna reach out to other people for input too, but I think it's necessary, since we're at the reins of this potentially fantastic thing, that we form a core group to start to begin the process. I mean, I have my ideas, but I'm just one person.
I got some questions about it too. Can that money be invested?
Well, I mean, it's kind of invested now in a bank account, but if ultimately,
Is it drawing any interest? Is it in an interest-bearing account?
right now it's not.
Because, I mean, we couldn't do that with ARPA funds, because, I mean, that was the first question I asked. I mean, and they changed that. At the first you couldn't, and then you could, so that's why I was asking about that.
I'll find out for sure, because
Yeah.
I've already been in contact with the Attorney General's office, Chris Carmine, the people that have managed this, just to go through the legislation to try to get a read on some questions that I've already had.
Mhm.
So we can make sure, because there's an opportunity there to do even greater good with interest. I see your point. So,
Mhm.
but I'll find out for you.
Yeah. So, any other questions about this, Jeremy? Anything?
I suggest we do a vote to put them on the committee.
Yeah. Have you got anyone else in mind? And this is gonna be, and the reason I asked, Angel even said, and of course we was gonna vote to put them on the committee, but I'm sure if it's going to be at the county level and the fiscal court's gonna be responsible for dispersing the funds whenever they start getting spent, from my understanding, or will it be the actual board?
Well, it would be, this is more of a,
And the reason I say that is because we would have to vote to put other members on the committee as well.
Is that, we would? Any,
this is,
that was gonna be my
this
question.
committee won't dictate the actual expenditure. This is just to
Okay.
come up with a strategic plan that makes sense
Gotcha.
going on, and then over the next several years. So,
Yeah.
just, I don't think because they serve on the committee, that they can't also vote for any recommendations that they come up with.
Yeah, they would come back.
Cause I was
here.
thinking it'd be good to have,
Okay.
might be good to have somebody on the committee that's actually been through all that.
Well,
And I know people that is been meth addicted that are now pastoring a church. I mean, you know, and they work with a lot of people, and help a lot of people overcome it. And just, somebody that's been through it can give a lot of knowledge as to what it did to help them get through it, you know. Good problem. Sometimes we don't understand it. They do.
So basically, they would serve on the committee, and then the court would come back here and make a decision as a whole on the expenditures of basically the money.
right.
Okay.
And it would be, I believe that the way I see it is the court would basically vote for a general expenditure on a plan. So
Right.
you'd either say, no, this plan, not, we can't, because there's so many smaller elements of this. That's why I'd like to get the committee for us to focus on certain ones. So that way, every time we want to spend money, we don't have to come here and break down all these options, because there's so many options. And you know, when you have a meeting and you have several people and you have different options, there's always somebody's got another idea. The execution is the important part, but we just bring up more ideas and ideas. So I think I want to find out what our core is, and then bring in some outside people, work with Norman, because part of that is expenditures to reimburse them,
Mhm.
and then bring it back. So what I would see is that perhaps the committee is not an ongoing thing
Right.
unless we need to, but this is just to help launch this thing, to come up with a strategic plan that to present to the court, that addresses as many things as possible and makes sense, and then try to implement that plan.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them to vote. Well, I mean, I really don't want, they can't really vote. I don't want them to vote for themselves.
No, they should
So,
not.
I mean, if they're just forming a committee to bring an opinion back to the court, we shouldn't really have to vote to put them on the committee. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay, so, because, I mean, they'll be voting for themselves, which is a conflict of interest in itself, so, I mean, that's
They
what.
could have voted, but if
Yeah.
it's not necessary, it's not
I
necessary.
don't think so.
So, okay. All right, next, let's see, new business. Brian, we're gonna talk about Edmonson County Water District real quick.
Okay.
And, well, not real quick, but, we're gonna talk about Edmonson County Water District. We've got issues. And, just to give you the highlights of what's going on, is I'm actually on Edmonson County Water District, and I think I've been out of water 7 times this year since the first of the year. And, or low pressure or completely out for what, how many days was it?
So,
5 days, 4 days, 5 days, something like that. You all voted not too long ago to, of course, I addressed them after all the issues that had came up. I'll just try to get you up to date to where we're at. We was having a lot of issues with them, a lot of things that was going on. People's running out of water. People's calling me and Brian because it's in Brian's district. Edmonson County Water District serves 2,800 meters. I mean, it's not to the letter, but it's around 2,800 meters, which is around 75 to 7,800 people that's in Grayson County that actually serves. Some of them's not all full-time residents, but that really doesn't matter. It's a lot of lake communities on no limb. Service has been disrupted quite often, simply because of generator access, problem with the infrastructure, the lines, and that type issue. And so I went to a couple of the meetings, and of course they're having some other issues with the Corps of Engineers, which we could address here shortly. But long story short, Public Service Commission states that if some entity has over 25% of the assets in one particular county, that they actually get a couple board members on that board. And there was 3 people that was on the Edmonson County Water District board, and I made a phone call to someone, and whenever we had some issues with the water back around the first of the year, and I was told, well, everybody in Edmonson County has water. And I said, well, that's all well and good. I can respect that. But we don't have it in Grayson County. Well, everybody in Edmonson County's got it. And my response was, well, that's great. But do you know how many people voted for me in Edmonson County last year? And they said no, and I said none of them. I said my responsibility lies with the citizens of Grayson County. And so done a little digging with our local Grayson County Water District, and I put 2 people on that board, which would be Jared Beatty and Blake Aubrey, which is sitting here with us today. And told them what the issues were, and told them it wasn't going to be easy and this was going to be tough, and it has been, and it will continue to be that way. So you can fast forward. They've been having some issues along, and me and Brian want to address everybody on the court. This is not a just a small problem.
no.
This is a big problem. So Brian, if you want to take off, or Blake, if you want to, I mean, whatever you think, or we'll keep going, or what have you. So,
I mean, they've been doing good on the board, what they've done so far.
right.
And, you know, they've addressed the emergency plan, which I called today to try to find out, but they ain't got it together yet. There'll probably no more Tuesday. But my issue with them was I talked to them today, and Blake knows that when they dropped the lake back to 492, the diver, I believe he said 2 foot above the intake, right? Water, that would be the most. Well, but you don't know how much mud's gonna wash in around there. So if that intake's sitting up there out of water, 7,000 people is gonna be out of water. Of course, they can dredge it, which is $500,000. And it may have to come to that, but they wanted a grant and they got denied the grant. So,
Basically, in a nutshell, there's 2 different plants. There's an intake on the Brownsville side, and I'm not going to throw our neighbors to the south under the bus, because I've got a lot of friends and family that live in Edmonson County. And so that water plant pulls out of Green River, okay? So, and it comes up where it feeds, in Grayson County, it stops at Van Meter School Road, which is right below Ralph's Market on 259 South. So you've got the Dickies Mill Road area and all Ambassador Shores in that area. That's where their water comes from, Green River. Okay, first problem. They've known for 10 years, am I right, Blake? Correct me if I'm wrong. How long have they known that the dam was coming out?
I can't answer that for sure, but I mean, it's been a while.
Okay, Edmonds County Water District has known that the Corps of Engineers was taking this lock out, okay, these locks. And I know this might be the first time y'all have heard of it, maybe you have, I don't know. But anyway, they took a lock out of Green River, which dropped the level of the river dramatically, okay? At that time, Blake and Jared was not on the board at that time. And so the lock got dropped. You can see the top of the intake, am I correct?
Yes.
In the Green River.
The top intake.
You can see the top of the intake. So if we have a drought situation, everybody in Edmonds County is going to be out of water. If that river decides to, if we have a drought situation, we haven't this year. And then just a small portion of our customers or citizens that are in Grayson County on the south, very southern side of 259 South.
I will say that issue comes down to the Corps presenting bad numbers.
Yeah,
on the studies that they presented.
And I will, and I'm glad you brought that up. The Corps gave the Edmonds County Water District numbers to where there was going to be certain levels that the water was going to be. What was it, there? Let's just say it was 400. I mean, it was going to be 400. Well, it ended up being 395. What is the actual numbers, Blake? Can you remember?
I don't remember, but
Well,
what they said would be the worst case. There would still be plenty of water, and that's not the case.
yeah, they said worst case scenario, this is what's going to happen.
So when they took the lock out, they said this is where the water's gonna drop. But it dropped
This is where it's
much
going to drop, and you should be fine. Everything will be fine, and then but you all are going to have to make arrangements to do something different, because we're going to take the other lock out, which is going to lower the river even further. Okay, so they haven't taken that one out yet. They've asked for an extension to keep that up.
It's been stopped on the federal level by Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell.
Okay, so it's been stopped for them taking the other lock out. Because if they took the other lock out, nobody in Edmonds County, the southern part of Grayson County, would have water. I mean, they wouldn't have it.
Why they won't take a lock out?
Because of the Corps.
Because the Corps does what they do as far as
Flood control.
the flood control and putting rivers and streams back to their natural course and that type stuff. So, like I said, this just didn't happen overnight. And it's congressional money, from my understanding. And so they have to move forward with it because the United States Congress has voted on it. So anyway, that's a problem in itself. Our problem on the Grayson County side, the wax plant pulls out of, and if I say something wrong, y'all correct me, because I mean, I'm just going off, I ain't got nothing wrote down here. The wax side pulls out of the wax water treatment plant. All right. So 2 or 3 times this year, the electric's gone out down there, and 2 times I have actually had to call someone and say, call this person with a generator and hook a generator up, and it usually takes a day or 2. And I mean, this ain't no, Home Depot generator. This is on a tractor and trailer. And supposedly there is a grant that's filled out, but there's nothing that Edmonds County Water District has that's on a generator permanently. Nothing. And so if electric goes out, it's usually, we can tell within a few hours that the water treatment plant's not pumping. Because the pressure goes down, and eventually, it usually takes about an 8 to 10 hour period, and we're out of water down there on that end. And I'm talking Wax, Nolan Lake Estates, out 889, Millerstown, there's Hart County, there's some people in Hart County, And I've talked to the judge over there, and he's in the same boat we're in. We've got to get, something's got to happen. So, long story short, the Corps has kept up for quite a few years Nolan Lake 5 feet above winter pool because the Evanston County Water District, Blake, am I right? 5 foot above winter pool to accommodate the Evanston County Water District for pulling water out of the lake. They've been told a few years ago that eventually we're going to drop this back down to winter pool. We've got to drop this down to winter pool. And from what me and Brian have been told, that if we drop that back down to winter pool, everybody on this side is probably going to be out of water. Because the intake, is that the way you're taking it too?
I mean, the diver went and looked, and at winter pool, there would be 2 to 3 feet of water left there if it didn't wash full of mud. If it washes full of mud, then there's nothing.
There's nothing there. So it's actually a major problem.
This shouldn't be happening in 2024. Sounds to me like it's.
So I'm letting you all know what's going on, and Brian want to let you all know, and Blake, he was good enough to come up here. And have you all got an emergency plan in place in case that actually happens? Because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but you ain't going to fight with the Corps much.
You ain't gonna win.
No.
We've all had our issues with Corps of Engineers, and it don't work out real well. So
looks like they built another plant down there or something. Another treatment plant on Nolan Lake.
That's 10 years out.
We bought the property, the plant's gonna be $40 million.
And this is another issue. The administration, which hopefully things will change, and I guess the reason we're telling folks this is because, look, if something happens, by all means, go to the water board, go to the water district meetings, and voice your concern of people that's on Evanston County Water District. I felt my obligation, Brian felt his obligation to let the people and the citizens of Grayson County that's on Evanston County Water District know that this is a serious situation.
Okay.
We're doing everything in our power to do what we can, but we also have to have the cooperation of the Evanston County Water District. So with that in turn, I have reached out to Grayson County Water District, and it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do it. And we're looking at different funding right now. Grayson County has proposed running their service stops right past Bear Creek is where the service stops. And then Evanston County picks up. Well, those two services are 1,400 feet maybe apart. They're not very far. But we would have to run a new line. Jeremy has proposed, and he's already went to Frankfurt, and I think he's working on the schematics and all that type stuff of trying to get it done, of putting in an 8-inch line all the way down 259 South. Am I right, Blake?
6 inch, I believe.
No, he's going 8 because he's changed his mind. Because we was going to do 6 at first and tie into your all 6, but he's going to go 8 because, and the reason is he believes, and he's got with the city of Litchfield on actually their plant helping push the water that way if they could hold the capacity, and they can. They've talked and they can, from my understanding, unless something different has came up. He wants to put an 8-inch line in all the way down 259 South, and then that way, even if the wax plant goes down, that Grayson County Water District can supply everyone in Grayson County with water. Even if the wax, Evanston County Water District wax plant is down, Grayson County Water District can continue to supply all of Grayson County citizens, and probably some of Hart County too, with water. However, Evanston County on that other intake they can't supply that. They can't do that. So I hate saying this, but I've got to worry about the folks in Grayson County. that's, that's who we need, to worry about. If we can do something to help Edmonson County, if the water district wants our help, by all means, Grayson County Water District is going to do anything in its power to help them. But we've got to have cooperation. Do you agree?
Yeah, our biggest need right now is about $1 million to complete that connection.
Right. And see, that's gotta come through a grant. It can't be a loan.
And
Because you can't move
this
to
is
somebody
another
else's territory.
thing. Some people say, well, why don't you all get a loan? Well, Grayson County would gladly get a loan. Grayson County Water District would gladly get a loan to do that. However, Public Service Commission says that the area is Edmonson County Waters District area, okay? That's their area. Grayson County has their area. Grayson County Water District cannot get a loan and spend that money in another water district's area. So Edmonson County Water District would have to get it. It's in their area, and then we would put it in, but from my understanding, at this time, some board members, and I don't know the director or not, is interested in obtaining any kind of a loan to do any of this. They want to try to obtain grants. My thing is grants is great, but sometimes you can't always operate on just grants alone. So sometimes you have to, we've had to do it. It'd be great to get a grant for everything, but we can't do that. We've had to borrow money, we've had to get bonds, we've had to do different things to, progress the county, and that's not happening. And so something has got to give. So, and I think Edmonson County Water District would be, you all have already agreed to let Grayson County run the line and hook up, am I correct?
If they paid for it, is that what you're saying?
If Grayson County paid for it, correct?
Yeah, there would be no issue with that.
So, because we have to have Edmonson County's permission to get into their district. And I think they have given us permission to do that, but the issue is the money. However, me and Brian and Jeremy and two or three other people and some other people on another board are trying to come up with these funds to make this happen. Of course, this ain't gonna happen overnight. That's the problem. And of course, Edmonson County Water District, and I'm trying to be as tactful as I possibly can, but it's coming to a point where it's not going to be that way, especially when everybody runs out of water. And some of the comments that I've heard was, well, let's just run out of water and we'll sue the Corps.
That don't work.
That ain't gonna work. You've got 7,800 people without water. That is not a good solution to a problem.
Well, it's gonna be a lot of money. If they dredge, they can dredge for, I think the last cost was, what, 500,000, wasn't it?
That's just an estimate.
That's an estimate.
Well, that's half the cost.
All right, but when you dredge it, eventually it's gonna wash back in, but you may have to dredge it to make it last till you do something else.
I think the reason Brian wanted to bring it up, and Blake, of course Jared's not here, they're the two representatives on there. They just got, what have y'all been on there, 2 months, 3 months?
February.
Okay, yeah, so a few months. They've just now starting to learn all the workings of how the board works and how things go, and starting to get, and they realize that there's some issues going on, but I guess in a nutshell is everybody knows there's some issues going on, but everybody can't bail you out all the time. You've got to, sometimes you gotta make a choice, and you might have to borrow some money to make something happen, because the solution, the remark of, well, let's just run out of water and we'll see what they do then. That's not no, we can't do that. And that's why I'm letting everybody know what's going on with
This
this.
backup plan that I think we're gonna find out about it Tuesday, I believe, ain't it?
We appointed some people to work
Right,
on it.
and I talked with Jared today, but that might cost $1 million. I mean, you don't know how far down the lake you gotta go, you gotta have generators. So that might be, you know.
So
don't
you
know.
all did vote to have a backup plan, correct?
To update the emergency plan, yeah. To figure out where we could put some pumps to get water out of the lake in the wintertime.
Is it possible to have the district switched over to where we can take it over and put it in our district?
They're in control.
No.
They're full control.
The Edmonson
We
County
signed that
Water
over years
District has
ago.
to relinquish their area
Well, it sounds
before, and
like
that,
they need-
I'm telling you, that would,
Well, they need
there's
new
no
management
way.
down there.
They don't want
that
to sell it
that
to
would
us?
happen. What's that?
They don't want to sell it to us?
Or give
Or
it
to the
to us.
water district?
Looks like it'd be a blessing to them
No,
if they give it
there-
to us.
there's too much revenue driven, that's drawn off of it, so, but
They
the
need-
thing of it is, the way I look at it is that we have Grayson County citizens
They can't
that,
service it.
we shouldn't be talking about this, like Darren said, in 2023, 2024, we shouldn't be talking about this. That this should be, there should be vision and to see, update systems and that type of stuff, so.
They need new
And
management.
this has been something that's happened for, quite some time, but we never had any representation on the board.
Right.
We never had it, but we do now. So,
Sounds like they need new management down there too.
we're gonna,
I'm curious.
I'm just letting you all know what's going on, letting the people of Grayson County know what's going on, and by all means, if you got any questions, be sure and go to see your water district and see when their board meetings are and voice your concerns. Not trying to throw them under the bus, but I want to be as transparent as I can about that, and it's not a good situation. Would you agree?
I agree.
Would you agree?
It ain't good at all.
Okay, I just wanted to be,
But I think the people that's in Grayson County, which are mostly all of them in my district, and I get a lot of calls on it.
yeah,
So,
okay. Anybody else? Anybody got anything? Nothing? We got executive session. We need to go in there just for a few minutes. Sam, I apologize. Matt, sorry guys. Smith. We're going to executive session. Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brenda, second by Brian. All in favor? Be back in a second.
Litigation.
Y'all ready, Sam? Y'all good? All right, need a motion to come back from executive session. Motion by Brenda, second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we got old business. Jeremy, you wanna say anything about the executive session, just litigation?
Yeah, discussion, no action to be taken by the court this time.
All right, old business?
No, sir.
Old business, anybody?
No.
Old business, nobody? You got anything else, Blake?
No, sir.
Y'all got any questions? All right. Good, hey, y'all know that Stephen Smith?
That's what I was getting around. Who is that boy back there in the
Hey,
back?
all you gotta do is look, you look at him, know who he is.
Can you not tell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's starting to work for K105, right?
Yeah.
All right, good
You can
deal.
get that boy to work early.
Basketball player?
I was.
His sister is. Yeah, sister is,
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched her a little bit last year.
All right, then, we need anything, nothing else, Angel, you can think of. We've had a bunch of stuff going on. VFW is having a ribbon cutting on August 26th with its Saturday, August 26th at 1 p.m. at the Clarkson VFW Memorial Park. They've done a lot more work on that, and they're gonna have a ribbon cutting up there. So if anybody's wanting to attend or anything, it's at 1 o'clock on August 26th.
There's a gospel singing event tomorrow night, East Main at 7 o'clock.
Is you all doing that, or are you?
Like for everybody to come.
7 o'clock tomorrow night? Anybody else got anything? Nothing? Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Ben. Was that you? By Ben, all in favor?